Hello, moviegoers! November 2025 is here, and streaming services, as usual, have prepared a ton of new releases. And to my own surprise, I'm actually excited to watch them. It's been a really good month for premieres. As a reminder, this isn't a ranking, but a navigational guide to key points. The list of anticipated films I'm releasing at the end of the month includes what's already released, which I haven't yet had a chance to watch myself. So as usual, we'll be focusing on trailers, showrunner statements, the creative team, and initial industry feedback. No plot spoilers, just what's already available. Get comfortable and enjoy. James Wan's name on the producer list for True Haunting sets the tone. This documentary horror series breaks down two real-life mystical cases involving ghosts. The story unfolds through personal accounts of paranormal events, as well as cinematic reconstructions. The first part focuses on a student haunted by an entity, while the second follows a family confronting hostile forces in an old Victorian house. Judging by initial reviews, the project is filmed like a full-fledged feature film, employing atmospheric build-up rather than cheap effects. The creators focus not on evidence of ghosts, but on the emotional experiences of people confronted by the inexplicable. Because of this stylish presentation, the line between fact and dramatization is often blurred, making you forget you're watching a documentary. Lost Girls at the Station. This dark French thriller is based on true and terrifying events that took place near Perpignan from 1950 to 2001. The story follows the investigation of a series of disappearances and deaths of young women last seen near the train station. The plot centers on young investigator Flore Robin, who begins her career the day the first victim is discovered. Together with experienced detectives, she takes on cases that will ultimately span 20 years. Critics and viewers who have already seen the series have praised its realism and emotional depth. The focus shifts from the perpetrator to the victims and their families, and the grief and loss that surrounded these events. The visual style is close to documentary. The dull color scheme and leisurely pace emphasize the depressing atmosphere of provincial France in the late 1990s. The authors emphasized that it was important for them to avoid inspirationalism or romanticization and to treat the real tragedy with respect, which, judging by the reviews, they succeeded in doing. Last Frontier. This month, Apple TV Plus brings us a thriller that critics are already comparing to Fargo. It centers on Frank Remnick, the last U.S. Marshal, responsible for maintaining order in the remote and rugged Alaskan wilderness. His usually quiet life is upended when a prison plane crashes nearby, releasing dozens of the most dangerous criminals who survived the crash. Remnick organizes a search and begins to realize that the plane crash was no accident, but part of a deliberate plan. And who knows what consequences this will have. Jason Clarke, in the lead role, has received high praise for his convincing portrayal of a grim but principled law enforcement officer. Many praise the cinematography, which transforms the harsh Alaskan environment into a fully fledged character, in the suspense that builds with each new chase. However, some also note that the multi-episode format makes the plot feel drawn out in places, and attempts to discuss deeper themes of isolation and moral choice occasionally disrupt the narrative pace. The Chair Company, a new series from comedian Tim Robinson, has already been called the craziest and funniest show of the year. The absurdist comedy follows Williams, an office clerk who becomes an internet meme after a humiliating incident at work. Trying to clear his name, he begins his own investigation and accidentally stumbles upon a massive conspiracy centered on an office chair manufacturer. Initial reviews suggest the series offers Robinson-style humor on the edge of its seat, but also an unexpectedly twisted detective storyline, with each episode uncovering new surreal discoveries in the spirit of 1990s conspiracy theories. Splinter Cell. Fans have been waiting a long time for this game, and apparently for good reason. Netflix has released an animated series created by Dirk Kolstad, the creator of John Wick. The plot follows an aging Sam Fisher, who returns to the craft to train a new recruit and stop a global terrorist threat codenamed Splinter Cell. Initial reviews praise the series for its tense operations and techno-thriller atmosphere. They also note the smooth animation and dynamic action scenes, which clearly reflect Kolstad's work. Keep in mind that this is a Netflix animation, so expect a fairly straightforward plot, but overall, I'm confident this will be a worthy game adaptation with fans in mind. To Cook a Bear, a Swedish historical drama based on Mikael Niemi's best-selling novel, transports viewers to remote Lapland in the mid-19th century. In a small, isolated village, the body of a brutally murdered woman is found, soon followed by more disappearances. Panicked, locals blame the crime on a man-eating bear, but an unusual duo fights to investigate. The charismatic local pastor, Laetodius, and a young runaway named Juuso, whom the priest has given shelter. Together, they try to uncover the truth, balancing the superstitions of their frightened fellow villagers with burgeoning forensic science. According to initial reviews, the series carefully captures the atmosphere of the novel, capturing the spirit of the times and the way of life of the Sami hinterland. It's worth noting that the pace of the narrative is leisurely, almost meditative. The series savors the details of everyday life and nature, which may seem boring to fans of fast-paced detective stories. However, admirers of Scandinavian stories write that To Cook Bear is captivating in its atmosphere and a worthy experiment by Disney in the Nordic noir genre. Mölndal, Death in the Family. The Murdaugh family story has already made waves in podcasts and documentaries, but this new docudrama promises an even deeper dive into the shocking fall of one of South Carolina's most powerful legal dynasties. The story centers on once powerful attorney Alex Murdaugh, accused of the deaths of his wife and son. The series piecemeal reconstructs the entire chain of events, from the mysterious death of a housekeeper and a fatal boating accident involving his son to a high-profile crime and the ensuing investigation. Initial reviews suggest the project resembles a tense thriller rather than a typical documentary. Its main difference is its structure. The story is constructed not as a solid enumeration of factors, but as a dramatic saga about the fall of a dynasty, with key scenes performed by professional actors. It Welcome to Derry, the long-awaited prequel to the It films from director Andy Muschietti, is finally hitting screens, and it looks like the hype was fully justified. The series takes place in 1962, 27 years before the meeting with the Losers Club, and tells the story of Mike Hanlon's parents, who moved to the seemingly quiet town of Derry. Soon after their arrival, a local boy disappears without a trace, and the cycle of violence associated with an ancient evil resumes. The series promises to reveal the backstory of Pennywise over 3 seasons, explaining how he came to be in this place and why fear and death return here every 27 years. We can expect the atmosphere of Stephen King's Ramas and Muschietti's films, a familiar city with a 60s aesthetic, growing horror and cosmic evil. And of course, Bill Skarsgård, who returned as Pennywise, is once again a thriller. Anne Rice's Talamaska. The secret older universe on AMC continues to expand, and this time the focus is on a secret society that tracks and controls witches, vampires, and other supernatural beings. The main character is newcomer Guy Anatole, who possesses telepathic abilities. He falls under the wing of the mysterious mentor Helen and quickly realizes that the real threat comes from within the order itself, whose methods and goals are far from transparent. Judging by the initial reviews from journalists and interviews with the creators, the series successfully combines a supernatural thriller and a spy detective story. The creators themselves compare Talamaska to the CIA or MI6 in the supernatural world, emphasizing that it is an organization that has to get its hands dirty to maintain balance. Instead of classic teenage gothic, viewers can expect a spy thriller, neon cityscapes, and an emphasis on internal intrigue, counter-surveillance, and the moral dilemmas of operatives. And finally, Down Cemetery Road. The story begins in a quiet Oxford suburb where a house explodes. Amid this chaos, a little girl disappears without a trace. Her neighbor Sarah, a teacher, becomes obsessed with finding her and turns to private detective Zos for help. Together, these two completely different women become embroiled in a complex conspiracy where the dead turn out to be alive and the living are under mortal threat. Initial impressions of the series are very positive. Reviewers note that, unlike the dark spy series predecessor, Slow Horses, by the same creators, Down Cemetery Road is more dynamic and action-packed, with plenty of action and chases. The project's main asset is the chemistry between Emma Thompson and Ruth Wilson. The actresses had long dreamed of working together, and it comes across on camera. Critics who have already seen it praise the witty dialogue and the way the series balances between tense triggers and light comedic moments. Calling it a gripping buddy movie, and a worthy addition to Apple's collection of stylish British thrillers.